All right, we're live. Yes, we are. All right. Welcome, and thank you guys for joining us today on this another interesting webinar. Ken Miguel here with me is Mike Lugo. Mike, how you doing today?
Doing great.
Good. So we're the last webinar we did was Bolide NVR and DVR GUI training, and now we're moving on to the Bolide VMS software training. So our goal for this webinar is we understand we're going to have two audiences. You may be already using Bolide, but maybe not, not really dove into the VMS software and everything that it does. So we want to make sure that you guys are aware of all the new features and the functionalities that this software does. It's a license-free software. It's free for you, for your customer. Very easy to download, very easy to use, and I think you guys will see that there's a lot here. You can control pretty much everything on these recorders, and more. AI, face recognition, all that good stuff. Or you may not be a current Bolide user. If you're not, then welcome to the webinar, and I think you'll notice that on the software side, along with the GUI, it's super easy, feature packed, license free, everything is there, and it's this software is also a really good selling tool for your sales team, because end users want remote access from every way they can, one through the mobile phones, tablets, and also on their PCs and Macs. Okay, so we will start, but first I want to let you guys know there is a questions box on your screen. If you guys have questions, feel free to type that in, and we're going to answer them as we go along with the webinar. Okay, so the great thing about the software too is it's universal. You use the same VMS software for the Bolide DVRs, which would be the 5 megapixel line, and also the 3 megapixel line with Quick Connect. On the NVR side, from the 4-channel 4NX NVR all the way to the largest one, the 64 channel. Like I mentioned, the newest version of this Bolide VMS also has controls for the AI, so that's the face recognition, human vehicle detection, foot traffic heat map, and we're gonna go over all of that. All right, Mike, so let's start. So I'm a Bolide dealer, and I just set up my customer with the DVR or NVR, and I want to set them up for computer remote access. What is my first step?
Good, awesome question. So your first step is to go to our website. Well, first of all, it does come with the CD, but there's not that many computers nowadays that actually have CD-ROMs on them. So you can always go to our website, bolideco.com, and under the resource tab and downloads, you can see all of our downloads here. We're looking for the VMS.
So Bolide VMS.
Bolide VMS for the Mac and for the PC.
So it'll be the Bolide VMS Windows.
Windows, and the Mac's right next to it.
Mac.
You download that. That's going to take you to our downloads page. It's here. Put a check mark and go ahead and continue the download. So once it's downloaded, we can install it and start our journey into the VMS.
All right, so I have a Mac, and I can tell you guys for sure that the Mac version is same exact version as PC. So I know schools use Macs a lot, and it's becoming more popular in recent years. So you have both PC and Mac version, same exact software. Okay, so after you download it, right, you go through the installation, then you're gonna boot up the software. Where do we go next?
So then you're going to come,
so
you're going to see the Bolide VMS. Let's see if that's not displaying. Give me a second. That should be it.
All right, it's up
There
now.
it is. Okay.
All right, so it will take you to a login prompt, right?
Yeah. Go ahead. You have to
So
set up an account.
so two ways to fire up the software. One would be the local login, which is you're gonna enter the same device ID that you have on your phone, but it's gonna be for one recorder only. There's another. I think the best way would be the account login. So when you install the software, it will ask you to create an account for yourself, the user. It'll ask security questions, but once you're set up, for example, username is admin, password is, let's say, 12345. You log in, and that's the one that where you can control and monitor multiple NVRs and DVRs.
Yeah.
So when you're in, this is what you're gonna see, right?
Yep. This will be your first screen. The first thing you're gonna want to do is add your device to the software.
So this is called the home page.
Home page with a little house icon.
So I have my DVR set up, connected to the modem, right? So
Yep.
on the NVR, you're gonna see a green solid light on the back and orange flashing light. That means it's communicating with the network.
Yep.
On the phone, you guys know that you scan the QR code. On the software, there's no scanning, so we're gonna actually just enter that device ID manually, right?
Yep.
So let's try one right now.
So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add a device.
So upper right corner, there's a plus sign, add device.
It's gonna give me a new little window.
Here's what you see.
Go ahead and name it.
So name it whatever you want.
And I'm gonna add it to the P2P ID.
Okay, so you have to select P2P ID. Okay, so that's the device ID. Where do you find that?
So that's usually on the top of the recorder or in the systems tab inside the recorder. You have all that information along with the QR code in the recorder. If for some reason you don't have access to the top of the recorder.
All right, so if you also have it already set up on your phone, then it's even easier. You can just copy, all the credentials from your phone to your computer. When you scan it, it will generate this device ID. We'll go back to that. So media port is usually 9,000. We have many different cameras here at the office, so it's 5,001, but it's usually 9,000. Username is by default all lowercase admin. Keep in mind this is case sensitive. The device ID needs to be all in capital letters. Your username is usually out of the box. It's admin all lowercase, and then the password is
you'll add it.
Something that the user or you, the dealer, will generate for them, but that is also case sensitive.
Yep.
Okay. Then when you're done, you're gonna hit modify. Now you will see your recorder here on the status. It will turn green if everything is all good, all your information is correct. It will turn green. If you see device login fail, that usually means there's something wrong with what you entered as far as the device ID or maybe the port. If you see a user error or username error or password error, that means you enter something incorrect on the username or the password. It happens a lot. So, just when you see that for some reason it's not online, hover your mouse over the status and you'll see it right here, device login. If it's fail, it will say you fail. If it's username, password error, it will say password error. So that way you know how to troubleshoot it.
So now we have our devices added.
Okay. So we want to show you guys multiple devices on this webinar. So we added one, and Mike already added another recorder via the auto search. Is that how you did it?
Yeah. So auto search, because I have a bunch of devices that come up. I can select the device I want. That's the one you can see here. There's no check mark because I already added that device. But these are other devices that I have on my network.
So this is if you're local on the local network, you actually find devices on your network.
Yep.
But to monitor it from remotely, you got to use a device ID, right?
Yeah, got to use it. You can use an IP address, but we recommend device ID.
Yeah. So go to grouping. This is another great feature. So we know there's a lot of sites where they only want to show, let's say they have in this case 2 NVRs, and let's say they want to show only a certain amount, let's say channel 1 to 4 on all, on both recorders. and you want to select like a custom grouping, you can do that. So you can pick and choose from many NVRs. Um, and how many NVRs, how many devices can you add to the software?
So we can add up to 120.
120.
Yeah.
NVRs and DVRs.
And DVR.
Another great thing is pretty much you can add analog cameras to a DVR, and then you can, let's say, they want to keep their existing cameras, put a DVR on, and then they want to buy a new system. In addition, then you put IP cameras on an NVR, then use the software to bring them in together, and from their perspective, it will look like just one system through the software. What are the we got a question. What are the minimum requirements for this software to run?
So it can be very processor intensive, because you figure you're streaming IP cameras. So you want at least, like an i5, you want at least, 8 to 16 gigs of RAM, depending on how many cameras you're running. A lot of our customers are running 4K IP cameras, 16 IP 4K cameras. That's a lot of video. So you want to have something that's kind of a little more robust. You don't want to have it on an older laptop or computer. Yeah, just keep in mind that you are streaming all these videos, so video feeds, so you want something a little more newer.
Just from experience, I have a MacBook. It's a new version, and I have about 36 something NVRs. And they run pretty smooth. So
this runs really
you
smooth.
don't have to have a dedicated computer, but it's got to be a decent one. But it depends on how many what you're running. All right, so let's look at some cameras. So now we added both devices. We exit out of device management, and let's go back to home page. Go to main view. You guys saw that? Yeah, main view. So and then you're gonna see your devices on the left. The easiest way to do is to just drag and drop both on the tiles. So that's NVR1 with one camera, NVR2. How many NVRs can you drag and drop on this?
You can drag as many NVRs as the software allows you to do. And we can view 128.
Do 128
views at one time.
So I'll click on that. There you go. So you can do 128 cameras max at the same time. You put this up on a 15-inch LED screen. It's gonna look nice. All right, so you can do custom views. So let's look at the layouts. So you can do that. You can also, so you can also.
So this is a cool feature. So as you can see, actually, let me close this here.
So how do you get there?
So usually I have one big screen and then a bunch of little ones. When I come here and do my edit, now I can edit these the way I want them to be. I can do 8x8, but I can also, I gotta load it first. I can also add a new name. Let's just name it 1 for now. Okay. So now I can also edit the screens. If I want this to be one big screen, I can merge that. Now that's going to be one giant channel. And then I can do, little ones here, merge those, and do different sizes to your videos.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
That's very nice.
Yeah. There.
So this is drag and drop, right? So you can, let's say you don't like this certain arrangement, just go, just flip the channels just to show our audience.
Oh yeah, you can drag and drop. I can move these around any way I like. Sometimes the customers want them in a particular order.
Can they save it? Can they save the view?
Yes. So you have a save right here. I can save.
Yeah.
That's now saved. And then I can just do a large screen as well. Get rid of all the other controls, and I want to just see my screen.
Okay, so the controls here, the layout goes, the bottom part of this so let's just go over these a little bit. Okay. That's a mute button.
Yeah.
This is a stop streaming.
Yep.
Okay, these are PTZ presets.
Yep.
Right, and then
different pages
of channels, and then you have your layout buttons there.
Yep.
Now, when you hover over the cameras, there are more buttons. So those are the controls for the channels. So that button is for taking a screenshot. That's for manual recording. If you want to, if for some reason, let's say the camera is on motion recording only or analytic, but for some reason you want to record
Straight
what
to
you're
your
seeing
PC.
right now, sure, yeah, independent from the recorder, straight to your PC, then you press that button. All right, digital zoom. Let's show digital zoom on that. Okay. Well, you're showing substream here, right?
Yeah.
So let's full screen this camera. So double click to maximize. Now you're going into the mainstream, and then do a digital zoom. Right. So this is a 4K camera. It's
Yeah.
nice and clear. All right. And that is instant playback. So that takes you click on it straight to the playback menu, right?
Yep. So I can go ahead and
And
there it is.
it's an instant playback.
Yeah, that's gonna go straight to the playback. I don't got to worry about entering the date, time, all that other good stuff.
All right.
So we mentioned that was digital zoom.
So
right?
if you have a motorized lens camera,
You can go into the PTZ, which is top.
So right here, what buttons are we looking at here?
So first one is going to be our layout,
Devices,
our cameras.
Device list.
Yep.
All right, and then
Second one's going to be different
the groupings
groups.
that
Yep.
we went over earlier.
And then PTZ, really important. Let's go ahead and do a zoom here. I can put this on and go ahead and I can zoom.
So our iPac varifocal cameras are motorized lens, right? So
Yep.
Yep.
There it is.
If you're doing this remotely, there would be a little bit of lag depending on your connection and but they're autofocus cameras, so if you just leave the zoom where you want it, it will automatically focus.
Yeah.
So there you go. This is focusing on the road, right?
Yep.
All right. So there you go. So the next point would be if I'm in it. So now as an installer, I'm looking at this. As an installer, I already connected the devices. I want controls of the cameras.
Yeah.
Where do I go?
So let's go over some of these analytical options that we have here.
Let's go to device management first, and then right here.
Oh yeah.
And then let's go to operation settings.
So this is going into the recorder.
Yeah. So these are all the settings.
Prior with the CMS, we were only allowed about 90% of the functions that the recorder had remotely. Now with the VMS, you have total control over the recorder, just like if you were sitting in front of it and had a monitor plugged in. So that's pretty awesome.
So a couple important things to check would be date and time.
Always date and time. Always remember the first thing to do, date and time.
Yeah, so let's do it here. Let's do date and time. There we go. So you can do date and time, daylight savings, match it to your network time. Another thing would be setting up the record schedule.
Yep.
So let's go to
one more thing. I want to go real quick because this is really important. Before we couldn't do this. Now, a lot of times the monitor plugged in does not have the correct resolution for the recorder, and you'll get a resolution error on the screen. Now with the VMS, we can go in and we can change the resolution of the recorder all the way up to 4K to match the monitor that you're using. It's a real important tool. We couldn't do this before, and it was a headache. We got that corrected, and now we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah. All right. So actually, while we're on general settings, go to multi-user. So that's if you want to add a username for the recorder and add a password, or take out privileges, you can do it here remotely as well.
Yep. Set cameras and whatever you want the other user to use or functions they want privileges. You can go ahead and set that here. Maintenance. This is going to give you logs. Loading defaults in the recorder. You can do upgrades. If you need to do a firmware upgrade, this is where you would do it. Load it and go ahead and commence with the upgrade. Another important function is you can do the cameras as well. Cameras connected to the recorder. You can upgrade the camera as well from the recorder now. And then of course, we talked about the information page where it has the QR code and your information in order to get that remote access.
So vice versa, if you're not set up on the phone yet, then you set up here first, then you can scan this.
Yep.
You can do it remotely, so it doesn't have to be where the recorder is.
Yep.
And right, Mike, if you forget the password,
Yes. Right.
we're gonna need to. We can unlock in here, but we need this MAC address.
The MAC address.
That's where you'll find it. Yep. All right. So general settings. Let's go to record. Or changing the resolution, streams, and bitrate.
Yeah.
So mainstream. Right here, you select your recording resolution, frames per second, compression type, bitrate, and you can do it on the mainstream and the substream.
Mobile stream if it has it.
Yep.
And you can also do audio.
Okay.
It's also where you'll find the audio if you have a microphone connected to it.
All right, so let's go to schedule. Okay, so this is where you set it for motion detection or continuous recording, right? So
Yep.
Right now it's set to record all the time. So if I want to set this for motion, how do you do it? Super easy.
Yeah, so the yellow is highlighted, it's set already for all the time. IO, PIR, if we have PIR cameras, I just can drag across. You see everything turn purple.
Let's set it for motion.
It's set for motion. I can turn it
No,
off.
motion only.
Oh, motion only, okay. So then I would just turn this off.
Turn it off. Leave
Click
everything
here, cut off, PIR. You want to make sure everything's yellow.
Yeah.
Only. Save it. And if you want to do the other channels after you save it, then I can copy the days and also copy the channels to all. So you don't have to do each one individually. You can do it in a batch operation.
So let's say I want to set my motion area. Where do I go?
Yeah. So it's a separate place. It's a good question. So motion area is going to be under motion detection.
All right.
And then I can turn this on. Once I have it on, I can see my area and I can, real important, red is what is being detected. So we have customers that think that red is what's not being detected, but
red is being detected.
Red is being detected. I just go and the area that I don't want to be detected, I can take that out and save it. Another cool feature is now you can also do pedestrian and vehicle with the AI cameras.
All right.
Yeah.
So we'll go over the AI functions, all that you can control on the software as well.
Yes.
Okay, so next would be your channel. Go to channel or live. I'm sorry. Yeah, you can change your camera name. All that good stuff. But the point is, you can control everything on the NVR remotely through here. So if you're the installer, if you want to troubleshoot online or remotely first before you go do a service call, you can use the software. We know dealers that keep the admin username and password just in case they need to log on, check the schedule, time, things like that. If for some reason the user cannot find like the recordings or any of that. So yeah, it's a good tool.
Yeah, sometimes it'll save you a trip out there, just by just logging in and finding out that something really simple.
Mike, we're gonna go back to this menu for the AI setup, but let's do the playback first. Yeah. So playback functions on the Bolide VMS.
So there's two playbacks. You got remote playback and local playback. This is a call we get often. Some confusion. They'll be in local playback. I can't find my recordings. It's because we're remote to the device. So remote playback is where we want to go.
Your device is on the left.
Drop down.
So you select the NVR. You select the channel, and you'll see a calendar, right?
Yep.
Where there's red arrows, there's recordings.
There's recordings.
So you hit search. Under search config, you can actually search like different activities. If you want to narrow it down, the point the point here is to reduce the time of you going through unnecessary videos, so you can filter down. We have constant recording. So when you see the timeline bar pop up, green, you saw the schedule earlier. Green is for constant record. If it's motion, it'll be yellow. Analytics will be blue.
Yep.
And then to playback, then you hit the play button right there.
Yep. That'll come on. You can see I have some box here.
Yeah.
And I can go ahead and I can select. You can see the different colors at the bottom. So I already know that those are analytical playback area. And you can see people crossing through. I already know. I can go to the next one. I know that
full
it's
screen that. All right, so you'll see now we're playing back. You can do frame by
frame by
frame. You
frame.
can pause it, take a screenshot, and so forth.
Yeah.
You can also take that timeline and do a more kind of you can do an hour interval, 30-minute interval. You know, so if you're really narrowing down your search, you know, throughout the day, you can get to the minute and the second. If I'm interested in something here and I want to save a clip, let's do. All right, so there's like a scissor icon right there, so you're gonna select that start time.
See the two arrows drop
end
down.
time. Yep.
And then I hit it again. And now it's going to give me a path. Where do I want to save it? Here, I'm going to save it to my desktop. Select folder, and then download.
Download. All right. Then start downloading. Then you're in. You already saved the file. So it's super easy as far as backup, right?
Yeah. In fact, this backup is probably easier than the actual recorder. To do it on the VMS is probably the easiest way to pull a backup file. Steps are very simple.
All right. So now, so this is one way. Let's say I wanna back up like a couple hours yesterday, and I don't want to watch the videos. I know what time. Let me just download those. You go to right there, download button. And these are all the times today, right?
This is today, yeah.
Yeah, today. All right, so let's say today, all these clips. So what I can do, I can search. Yeah, I can select as many as I want, or if you want to select all, you can select all. Then you hit download, and now you're downloading videos of the whole day.
Yep.
All right, so you just wait for this, and then you're set to go.
Very easy.
No, Mike. The recorder does not save everything as one big file, right?
Correct.
It breaks it up.
And that's a good question. Let me show you guys really quick. So, let me show you where that's at. So under the system config tab. And this is really important. You should set this up in the beginning too. We should have mentioned this in the beginning. You want to set this is coming as general. You want to set your file type. By default, it's RF, which is raw footage. And that's something that only the recorder or the software is going to play. If you want to watch it on your computer, you want to change this to AVI or MP4. So as soon as you set this up, you want to go ahead and change that file type. And then there's a max file size. All right, so that means that no matter what I'm downloading, it's going to leave it in 1 gig file increments.
Okay, so now let's say I already saved it. Show us the file player. Let's say we save it as RF. The software also includes the file player. Yeah, we don't have to play. Actually, we'll just.
I'll show you right now when I do the vehicle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So okay, we were on playback. Yeah. So playback and saving videos is super easy with the software. I'll go back to playback this clip again. I want to go over one more thing. On playback 2, you still have the controls to do screenshot, digital zoom. So let's do digital zoom. So this is while it's playing back. So there you go.
Yeah, you can see the time's going. So this is the actual playback.
Yeah.
Going through.
There's also controls here for the fisheye. If you have the BN1908 fisheye camera, you can dewarp it from the NVR, even on playback. Yep. While it's playing back, you can dewarp it and get the view that you want.
Yeah.
So all right. So ready for analytics?
Yeah, let's do some analytical searching.
Is there anything else here that the users would need to be worried about as far as the homepage?
As far as normal things, not really. But we'll get there. I'll get to some of these other ones on the bottom.
Okay. So if you're implementing the face recognition, vehicle and human detection, and foot traffic heat map from the cameras for, let's say, a new install.
Yeah.
Which our systems are like super smart. It's all license free. It's already pre-included. What's the first thing that you do? You do a setup.
So we're going to do, actually, just come down here, AI config.
Okay.
And this is going to allow you to start the configuration process. So I'm going to select mine here. These are some names I already have in there, but if I want to add a new person, I just hit the add button, and then I can.
Okay, so let's explain what we're doing here. So the system can start and manage a database of faces, right?
Yeah.
So what Mike is showing you guys is that already a list of people that you already
That's a
added?
list I already have, but if I want to add someone else,
yeah,
then I would do it this way.
okay.
I can do a local, which is, you know, things I have on my computer, or I can do a device image, and these are images that are on the recorder itself.
Yeah. So the NVRs using the AI cameras on default will actually capture and save. It will detect faces, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you're gonna add one, and the beauty of this is, you know, we did like a search. You can search by face, so it even like narrows down your time searching for videos, because if you're looking for one person, you disregard all the video recordings aside from videos of that person based on the facial recognition analytics.
Yeah, you can also edit them from here. Once I've added it, I can, you know, add more pictures to make the system smarter, and I can also add them to both recorders. I have multiple recorders, you know, I have multiple sites, and I want to add individuals to all my sites, and I have to go to each site. I can do it all from one software. That's very cool.
So here we named him Oscar, and he's on the allow list. That means so you can set up alarm. You can tie up alarms to like allow or block list.
Yep.
So, but there you go. So you
just want to switch him to the block list. Very easy. I just add to group, save. Now he's on my block list and not on my allow list.
Yeah. So if I set up my email notification to send me an email, a screenshot of this guy because he's on my block list, I can. If I want the recorder to only record people on the block list, you can. If you want to do a cloud backup, which means the recorder will upload screenshots of that person on the block list on my cloud account, you can. Also, if you have the alarm relay setup, right?
Yep.
To do a click when there's a person that's on the block list that comes to my cameras, I can do that as well.
Yep.
So you can do a lot with this facial recognition as far as like getting notified, you know. So, you know, let's say, you know, retail store, they want, you know, people that shoplift on the block list and they've been on the camera, so you can do that. Let's say like a restaurant, you want to find out, you know, let's say they have regular customers, you can save their face and put them on a allow list and get instant notification when they're at the restaurant. So, you know, you can prepare, you know, serve them well, welcome them. You know, you just know that they're around. You can use that for that purpose. Employees, you know, we've had customers that upload all their employees on the facial recognition, so, you know, they can track where the employees have been. You know, if something happens, you can always go back to recordings of that person. And this is a deep learning system where the more it sees you, the better it can, the more accurate it is as far as detecting you, right?
Yep. So hence the name AI. It's going to learn as it goes. Yep. So this is setting up, adding people to the system, and you know, setting up that up. You know, how we want to use the system. How do we use it? You know. So one of the things is, the first thing we'll go to is a face search. I want to search for faces. So I'm going to select my recorder, the alarm group type. I want to do all. I'm going to set my date. Okay. How far do I want to go back? I want to go back here. And then I can also do a similarity. You know, how much does it look like that person? Do a search. I'm just going to go to my system, and there it is. You know, all the different faces that came through my camera, you know, since the date I selected. That's one way to go ahead and use the system. And there's, I can do the playback.
Yeah, playback right there. You can save it right there too,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. So that's one way. That's the face search. The second way would be like a face attendance or a repeat visitor. So face attendance, you're using it for attendance of your employees. Select there. I'm going to select this. Select my time again. Let's go back to the first. Yes. Again, I could select the similarities and do a search. And here we go. So it's going to tell me, you know, the different dates. I can see when they came in.
Yeah, going back to, I know a lot of dealers sell these to businesses and companies. Yeah, they can add all the faces of their employees and track if they come in late or if they left the building based on what the times that they hit the cameras in the mornings.
Yep.
Or in the afternoons, whatever. Start of their shift or end of their shift. And you can do the reporting here and export it as an Excel sheet, right?
Yep, and let me show you what that looks like.
Yeah.
So let me pull up I'm gonna do an export. What do I want to save it? You know, I name it. I go ahead, I can name it whatever I want. And I go ahead and save it. And then the X will actually look like this. Let me pull this up so you guys can see it. And here's an exported Excel. So my list, the times they came in, if they were late or they were not, you know, early, late, absence, I can get all that information and make it real easy for billing to do attendance.
And if I'm, you know, like most of you guys sell security solutions, this is great for me as a salesperson because now I'm selling something smarter, right? So not only do they have security, they have cameras, they also have ways to like measure their business and you know, monitor their employees, like this face attendance. Now you can tell who's late and who's on time, and you know, it pretty much, you know, just adds more, like another layer of like surveillance and super smart stuff that, you know, I think the key for you guys would be like know it, so when you sell it, especially if you're against competition, it'll give you an edge. You know, you have something better, something, you know, you have an extra feature that will benefit the customer.
Yeah, like Ken mentioned earlier, you know, visitors coming in, repeat visitors is another important.
Oh, right here, option. Yeah, for restaurants, yeah, or so, if, you know, any store we have hotels, you know, that have like regular customers, yeah, like you can either use this to find out who your regular customers are and then put them on like an allow list. And then also, if you don't, so if you already know who they are, then you can track their activity and it can alert you when they're at your facility. Yep. You know.
Yep. So another real important, pretty cool feature is the human vehicle detection, capturing license plates. Yeah. You know,
license plate positioning is like
really important.
One of the most common things we get asked. This does not do a database of plates, but what it does is it detects vehicles activity. So which means it can disregard everything. We only want to keep cars that have been on the cameras, right?
So let this do, and I'm going to show you. So let's pull up.
Or humans only. It's human and vehicle.
And vehicle. Yep. So this is a perfect example. I'm going to also show you guys the player. So I'm going to make that full screen, right? And then I can pause it, right? And then I can do a digital zoom. That's a perfect license plate. Yeah. Positioning is good.
Angle's good.
Yep.
You have this camera like low, right?
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, I'm able to get a nice clear license plate. I can see in the thumbnail that it's going to grab that license plate. It's going to get that car. You know, each one is perfect positioning. I can grab it really easy. I can pause it and then do my digital zoom.
And what's another good thing is if you tie this into the email notification, all the cars, I mean, all cars have plates. It can keep the screenshots in an email. If you need to go back and check, you can always pull it. You go back to your email and, you know, have those. Yeah.
So that's a human vehicle detection, and then we can also do perimeter intrusion, right? So make sure that's on the first.
So let's say go back to a human vehicle. Let's say I only care about humans on my camera. I don't care about cars. You can filter that out.
Yeah,
right?
I can do
humans only.
Take the vehicles out, do a search.
Okay, there you go.
Let that run through the system.
Also humans only.
Only humans.
There you go.
Yep.
And then
if I wanted to do,
let's say vehicles only, then there's this. Okay.
Vehicle check mark. And there we go. Nothing but
Wow.
vehicles in my.
Well, the beauty is, like, before it's only motion, right? So you're detecting swaying trees, you're detecting dogs and animals and leaves, a rain. I mean, there's many things that trigger the cameras that causes a lot of false alarms. And using the analytics, now you're becoming very specific with your searches.
Yeah.
From a person's face to like cars only, humans only. So it makes it easier for you to find a clip that you're looking for.
Yeah, and if we have perimeter intrusion and line crossing, very important. These are tools that I forgot to check.
So let's explain what perimeter intrusion and line detection is.
So perimeter intrusion, put this check mark back on, do a search. Okay, so perimeter intrusion, you're able to set an area, and if you have either a vehicle or a human come into the area, bring this back, you can see my perimeter intrusion. It detected someone coming through my perimeter. See it turn red, it's detecting it as a human. It's also doing my line crossing at the same time, but since I'm only doing perimeter, that's what turned red.
You can set alarms too for that, right?
Yes, yes. Same with the line crossing, works very similar, except this is just a line rather than a box. And I can go ahead and put one of these up. And as you can see, I'm crossing through the lines. It detects me as line crossing. And as you can see that I'm not doing the perimeter intrusion, so it didn't highlight the perimeter because of the search I'm doing. That's very useful tools. Very useful tools. So that's the AI. Another one we talked about was the heat map. The heat map is going to be in a little different area. It's going to be inside the recorder, right? So let's go back to device manager.
Well, when we say heat map, it's not a temperature heat map. It's a foot traffic heat map. The value of that one is, for example, a grocery store, right, or a store. The heat map will indicate which areas of that store is busiest, right? And if based on this information, now they can make moves. They can put a end cap near the busy area. They can charge more, from their vendors for air. If they put their product in the high traffic areas, right? Or maybe place their inventory in certain certain arrangement where maybe they want to increase traffic in different areas. So yeah, this is very useful to kind of gauge a business activity and to use it to like make some moves. And it's another added feature to the system. So if I'm a security dealer, if I feel like I'm selling this to a company that will value this analytic, then there you go.
So now we don't only get the heat traffic statistics. We have all the AI functions have statistics you can pull. So times
too, you can tell what times in a store it's busiest, right?
Yep. So
there you go. Yeah.
There's my time. I can do cross counting. How many people came through, at what time they came through. Vehicle human detection as well.
Cross counting is you set a trip line and it counts how many people cross that line. Yeah. Yep. So if you put it by an entrance or an exit, like it counts. I mean. Yep. Yeah.
Human vehicle as well as faces. It's like, were they on my list? Were they strangers? Who came through?
Yeah, are they allow lists? Are they block lists?
Yep. And again, this is an exportable thing you can do. You can export it to an Excel and have that as a physical copy to look and maybe do some numbers later on.
Yeah, go back to heat map. We didn't explain. Okay, so going back here, red are the busiest areas of this picture. You can tell the red is our front door. That's where all of the employees coming through. The green was our moderate activity, so staircases. Blue is where there's no activity. So that's how you read this heat map.
Yeah.
And you can set the intervals, right?
Yeah.
Daily report, weekly report, monthly report, annual report. Yeah. So you can work this in many different ways. But yeah, no, it's a useful built-in feature. Sell it, take advantage. It's great.
Yep. So that's probably the only one you need to go into the recorder to get, and you do that through the
device management,
and then the little
gear for settings.
Yep. Everything else is on the going to be within the control panel or the home.
Let's go back to settings real quick. So I mentioned the alarm triggering, enabling the alarm to trigger when there's AI activity. Where do you set that up?
So under AI.
AI, okay.
And then alarm.
Alarm.
Yeah.
All right. So let's say a person on the block list enters the camera, and I have a device that can go off. I can set up a trigger from the alarm output, right, of the camera or the NVR.
Or the NVR.
And let me know that they're coming. Right?
Yep. I can send the email. Send pictures to the cloud. Make sure that it saves the face. You know, some of the block list comes through. I want it to save that face. I want to know who that person is. And save it. Latch time is going to be how long you have the alarm going off, or notifying you for how many seconds. You can do that up to a minute.
So yeah, that's all the controls there. Let's go to cloud real quick. Another feature that we get asked quite often is cloud on the NVR. So your main recordings are still going to be in the hard drive, but it can upload video clips to a Dropbox account or Google Drive account. So in this setup, you're not going to pay Bolide anything, but your end user would need to buy a cloud service from these guys. Log in, and then so here you select like the video type. If there's if any events, it will upload to cloud.
Yeah.
Essentially. So if something happens, let's say your hard drive fails or NVR goes missing, you have backup of all your clips on the cloud.
Yeah, it's a real important fail-safe feature. We've had instances where recorders have been stolen, things like that, and they've had a backup, and it's come in handy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If an NVR gets stolen, you put it in the wrong spot. Yeah. But it happens. All right. So that's AI cloud. Email notification is another thing, so you can set it up here as well.
Yeah.
Get notified of emails. That one you only get a screenshot, but you can set up for like whatever time you want. It doesn't have to email you constantly 24/7. Your customer can have it email them whenever they want. Midnight to 4 a.m. something like that.
And then you can set specific. I want just the intelligent AI stuff coming through. Input output, motion only, PIR detection. You set what you want to get as an email.
So all right. Let's go back to home page.
So let's just go over some of these other icons we see here. Some of the other features.
Emaps.
Oh yeah, emaps. That's a good one. I just did set that up.
Emaps pretty cool. You can set up the camera layout, right?
Yep.
And essentially, it will tell you if there's activity in whichever cameras.
Yep.
So let's say So Michael already uploaded like a floor plan here.
I go ahead. I can set different colors, different shapes to determine what is what when I have the cameras out there.
We have a question here. On the old Bolide software, you can split the EMAP and the playback and the mainstream into 3 different monitors. Yes. If I have 2 video cards.
Yes, if you can see, I pulled that down right there.
You can do that same here if you have multiple monitors set up.
Yep. So I pulled that down. You can see this separate window. It's separate from my toolbar up here.
Yeah.
And I can drag that over. You guys can't see on my other screen, but I can drag it over to another screen and have it on both screens and see both of them at the same time.
Yeah. So you can do live view, playback, and EMAP all at the same time.
All the same
can you
time.
do live view, playback, and AI?
Yeah, you can do any of these up here. I can pull it down and have it as a separate window.
All right.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
That's my EMAP. Yeah, so EMAP, if I want to see, particular camera in a certain area, what's going on, I can just refer to my EMAP, click it, and see what's going on in that area. It's a little easier to determine what's going on where instead of, oh, camera number 3, where's camera number 3? I know that it's, in the hallway or in the entry level, or, in the back. I can just
the color coded. Huh?
Yep. Yep. Very easy to find what's going on. Yeah. So yeah, we talked about remote playback. Local playback is going to be things you save to your computer. We talked about the live view
Yeah, anything you save. Right?
Yeah, anything I saved, I hit this little button, records from my computer, and I want to watch that, and I would go back to local playback. Another one is log. I can grab different log information, who was using the system.
This is for the software though, right? Not the NVR. Yeah.
Yeah, this is for the software.
So let's say 5 people are using this software on the same computer. Yeah. You can track whatever they're doing on it.
Yeah.
Right? So there's somebody trying to do something.
And that's a good thing you brought up. So there's an option here. So I can do from the recorder, local log, or if I wanted to know what's going on in the recorder, then I can do the remote log. And this is what's going on in the recorder. So you can do both. We didn't have that previously with the CMS. So it's another good feature that we added. With the log.
On the upper right screen, what is that CPU meter right there?
Oh, that's another good thing you brought. So this right here is going to tell you how much resources are being used by your computer. So let me come back here, and you can see that little bar just went up from 1 to, it's going about 3-4 bars now because I'm showing some video. It's substream. If I went all mainstream, then you would see that even increase more. If I close this out,
can we try that just for?
So let's go here. Let's go here. Actually, let's pull that in, and let's pull that in, and let's do all mainstream and all.
So that means you're going to the
mainstream
high def stuff. Yeah. So that's going up. So
that's using about half my resources now almost. Yeah.
So you can tell if you're overtaxing your computer.
Yeah. You get like a lag or something, you can look right here and be like, oh, that's my computer. It's not the actual network or system.
Now, how many computers can you install this software into?
As many computers as you want. You can add,
as many computers
as you want. If you have multiple locations, multiple users, they can just put this on as many as you want. And the system's going to take at least 21 users or 21 people logged in at the same time to each system.
So 21 users at the same time.
Yeah.
We have another question. Is it backwards compatible with older generation Bolide DVRs?
Yes, it is. It is. So if you're using the CMS, you want to upgrade to the VMS, be my guest.
Yep. We have another question. Does it work with third-party other manufacturer DVRs or NVRs?
So when you are over here you're adding one, and we want to do a private, so we can do ONVIF. We can do some ONVIF recorders.
Cameras, right?
Cameras, yep.
Can you do recorders?
You can do recorders. As long as it's on, well, the recorder's ONVIF, funny ONVIF recorder, but usually it's just cameras. Yeah, so that's another feature that didn't have prior. We have customers that, have cameras on the system, or, they want to add one, they're able to do that as well. Yeah. A couple other alarm config. This is going to be, go back to the live view here, right? I have an alarm button.
All right. Okay, so
I can set my computer to receive alarm notifications as well, not just my phone. Or you see here, I got some
motion detection, motion begins, no capture. All right, so it gives you like what it's doing too.
Yeah, so and I would set that up through alarm config. Drop my drop down, select my cameras, and then capture, record, of course, IO, video loss. I'll get these notifications telling me what's going on, and you'll see it pop up here at the bottom.
So intelligence, that's going back to the facial detect and
recognition stuff.
Yeah.
So that's another option. Of course, the crew, talked about crews. This is going to be different systems, different cameras going through a cruise type situation, account management. So this is for the software. This is not for the recorder. If I want to add users to the software, if I have multiple people logging into the same computer, and I want to limit them to what they can do, just like I do the recorder, I can do that through the software. This does not go to the recorder. The recorder has its own users. This is for the software. So not too many people use the software one. It's better to use the recorder one.
We have another question here. What versions of Windows does this software work on?
So we've had it on Windows 10. Not too many XP. I don't know if anybody's using XP, but it should work with XP. It shouldn't have any issues. But yeah.
Will they is there a chance they might run into stability with an old like an Windows XP or something?
No, they shouldn't have any. I mean, it might even work faster. Yeah, there's no limitations, and I mean, if you're using like Windows 98, you probably might have an issue, but it doesn't require any new things that the new Windows has. Yeah.
So let's go back to viewing cameras, just so while we wrap up the webinar. Did we miss anything else on the menu side?
No, I think we got everything pretty much covered. Real easy to use. You know, 1-2 clicks like all of our stuff, and you're up and running. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. That's the Bolide VMS. Again, it's available for download on our website. It's available for PC and Mac. All the controls, live view, playback, AI controls, everything is all here. So make sure if you guys are already using our recorders, take advantage of this. You know, learn how to use it so you can teach your customers how to use it. This webinar is recorded. We'll send you guys the recording after this webinar. But yeah, no, I want to thank you guys for joining us today. We're gonna wrap it up. But yeah, we covered everything on this software. Go back to our information page right there. There we go. Go to the next slide. Okay, so this is our information page. If you have questions, email us a question or call us for questions. I will happily answer. But yeah, no, thank you guys for joining us again. See you guys on the next webinar. If you guys are going to ISC West, we're going to be there next week, booth 8103. We're showing the Bolide VMS software. We're showing the NVRs. We're showing the AI, showing all the latest tech that we got over here. All right, Mike, thank you for joining me on this webinar.
Thank you. Thank everybody for joining.
And see you guys on the next one. Thanks for all your questions.